How to maintain your PMI certification. It's your friend Phil here, Project Management Trainer and Coach. Let's talk about PDUs. What are PDUs? PDUs are Professional Development Units. A PDU is a unit of measure that symbolizes your self-improvement. You're giving back to the community of project management. You're being trained in various aspects of project management, depending on what your certification is. When do you need these PDUs? Well, from the moment you get certified, the clock starts ticking and you have 3 years to get 60 PDUs for your certification. Why do you need them? You need PDUs to grow in project management, to evolve, to learn more, to understand strategy and leadership and the technical nuts and bolts of project management to a higher degree. You also need PDUs to give back to the community and help those project managers who may be junior to you or not have as much knowledge in a particular area. How do you get the PDUs? As I said, you could be trained, you could be coached, or you could be the coach or the trainer or mentor. You could also get involved in volunteering. And did you know that you get 5 PDUs for being a project manager in the profession every year? So at the end of 3 years, you already have 15 PDUs and you only have 45 PDUs to look for. Where do you get this information about PDUs? You get it from the CCR Handbook, the Continuing Certification Requirements Handbook from the PMI. So let's take a look at this handbook. You can download this for free from the PMI's website. As you begin to peruse this handbook, look at the table of contents so you can go straight to what you're looking for. In the table of contents, you've got the overview, the requirement, the professional development units explained, how to maintain multiple PMI certifications if you're like me that has 6 of them. And there's so much information here that you can go through on your own. But I'm going to hone in on a few of the big questions. CCR requirements on page 4. Let's look at this table here. This table states the various certifications, the number of years in the cycle, which is all 3 years, the number of PDUs that are required, and the minimum number of PDUs as far as education is concerned, and the maximum number of PDUs as far as giving back is concerned. Now, except you have the ACP, RMP, or SP, you need 60 PDUs. If you have those other certifications, you only need 30. And what you need is broken out in each column. So if I'm a PMP, what this means is I need to have a minimum of 35 education PDUs and a maximum of giving back PDUs. And this is broken out further into other categories. Let me introduce you to the PMI Talent Triangle. The PMI Talent Triangle is a triangle made of 3 sides. One is the technical project management. The second is leadership, knowledge, skills, and behaviors specific to leadership-oriented studies and cross-cutting activities, and also the strategic and business management side of the triangle. In this document, the PMI make it very clear what you need to get for each certification. So if you are a PMP, you need 8 technical PDUs, 8 leadership PDUs, and 8 strategic PDUs under the talent triangle on the education side. And then you can get the remaining PDUs across any other area of the talent triangle to make 35 PDUs plus the giving back PDUs. So this is what your 35 PDUs can consist of: 8 technical, 8 leadership, 8 strategic, and 11 from anywhere else. As long as you meet those 8s on the technical, leadership, and strategic, you can add an 11. For example, you could get 11 more in leadership, making 19 in leadership, or 19 in technical, or 19 in strategic, or you could split them across 3, 3, 5, for example. 3 more in technical, making 11, 3 more in leadership, making another 11, and 5 in strategic, making 13. However you decide to slice and dice it, just make sure you follow this guideline of the number of PDUs you need to get. The next page, page 6, talks about giving back to the profession and how PMI realizes that your skills need to be applied to contribute to the profession and how valuable that is. On the next page, you have the breakdown of the PMP, PGMP, PFMP, and PMI PBA with some visuals there. And on the following page, for those that only require 30 PDUs on page 8, you have the visual breakdown for the PMI ACP, the PMI RMP, and the PMI SP. On the next page is the CCR process, the breakdown of what happens from the time you earn a PMI certification all the way to when you participate in the PDU activities, record the PDUs, fulfill CCR requirements, complete the CCR application, and pay a renewal fee. Yes, there is a renewal fee if you didn't already know that. There are some people I refer to as seasonal members of the PMI because they only renew their PMI membership when they've got their renewal approaching. And last but not least, CCR renewal complete, and you get a notification from the PMI that that's done and your cycle starts all over again. On the next page, there's further information about PDUs, but the page that I would like you to hone in on is page 11, all about these different buckets that you can put your PDUs in. So first of all, there's education, courses or training. A very basic rule, go for a course that pertains to project management, that pertains to the knowledge areas included within project management, be they time, cost, scope, risk, quality. Lots of people do Six Sigma type courses. Lots of leadership courses that we offer are eligible for these PDUs as well. So if you go for a leadership training course or a communication seminar, all of that is good for PDUs. One PDU for each hour. The next page is page 13, giving back to the profession. You could work as a practitioner. You could give back by creating content. You could give back by creating a presentation or sharing knowledge or even volunteering. And they make it very clear what needs to be done to document your PDUs if you are involved in giving back. There's some other PDU policies that are talked about on page 14. It says activities you completed before you earn a PMI certification are not eligible as PDUs. This is something to do with ethics because a lot of PMPs think they can use a PMP course they went for before they got certified as PDUs. PMI says you cannot do that and you cannot claim participation in the same course or activity more than once. If you earn more than the required PDUs in your CCR cycle, you may apply a portion of PDUs to your next cycle. Only PDUs earned in the final year, 12 months of your certification cycle, can be applied to a future cycle. So how many PDUs are you allowed to carry over? PMP, you can carry over 20, PGMP and PFMP, and all those in that 60 PDU bucket, you can carry over 20, but those in the lesser bucket of 30, like ACP, RMP, and SP, when you only require 30 PDUs, you can only carry over 10 into the next cycle. This next page underscores what I told you about being a PMI member and how some people are seasonal members. Here's why. Your PMI membership status, if it's a PMI member, you only pay $60 for CCR renewal. If you're a non-member, you pay a whole $90 more. So for that reason, lots of people end up being PMI members because to be a member is $129 thereabouts. If you are not a member, you can see the cost is significantly more. Being a member in that particular year will also afford you lots of great perks. I would advise be a PMI member, not just the year of your renewal cycle, but be a member all throughout your PMI or PMP certification. One of the best kept secrets of PMI membership is projectmanagement.com, which is available to you if you are a member of the PMI. On projectmanagement.com, as you can see here, you can navigate to webinars, live webinars, on-demand webinars, and earning PDUs. If you click on the on-demand webinars, several pre-recorded webinars are available to you for you to gain PDUs. But not just that, You can also gain great knowledge from thought leaders in project management and beef up your project, program, and portfolio management skills. In addition to this, there are lots of topics that cut across agile and leadership, and I would strongly recommend this to anyone who is certified to stay plugged in and to get this great knowledge. Not only do you get the PDUs, another great feature is the PDUs get reported for you by the PMI. So projectmanagement.com is an affiliate website of the PMI, and you can get great information from it. I highly recommend it. The rest of this document has got information about how to maintain multiple PMI certifications amidst other things. I would recommend that you take a look and read because there is overlap in lots of these certifications. For example, I have a PMP, an ACP, an RMP, and an SP, as well as two others which don't require PDUs. But when it comes to getting PDUs, I make sure I stack them up and align them such that as I'm taking care of one, I'm taking care of another. Moving on now to page 17, certification status. There are three statuses. Active status, all is well and you are in the PMI registry. You have met your CCR requirements, you've paid your renewal fees. You also have the suspended status, which you do not want to be in. In the suspended status, it means you have not met your CCR requirement, you've not completed the renewal process, you have not paid your fees. If you fall into this category, you fall into a suspended status. I call it a suspended animation period in which you're not certified per se until you meet your CCR requirements within a 1 year probationary period, as it were, and that 1 year period overlaps with your next CCR cycle. So take a look here. You can see in this first cycle, you got your certification and the 3 years were good, but you were not able to renew your certification because you did not have enough PDUs or you did not follow through in paying those fees. You will be in this suspended period, as you can see here, and this suspension period overlaps with the 1 year of your next cycle, the first year of your next cycle. So if you get your PDUs within that 1 year suspension period, all is well and you can continue year 2 and year 3. But if you do not get your PDUs in that year 1 of the second active certification cycle or the next active certification cycle, whichever one it is, it could happen in the first, second, third, fourth, 10th cycle, whatever cycle. You don't want that to happen. And the reason why I'm telling you this, I've seen this happen to PMPs. I've seen my stakeholders, two in particular, that had to get PMP certified all over again because they did not take advantage of that suspension period. They ended up taking the PMP exam all over again. Not good. The last status is expired status. So if you do not earn the necessary PDUs or complete the renewal process within the suspension period, you lose your certification and you go into an expired status. As I said, I had two people attend my course for this reason. If you let your certification lapse, you cannot refer to yourself as a PMP or a PMI certification holder. And the last status is retired status. If you're a certification holder in good standing and you want to relinquish your active status due to retirement, you can do that. To qualify, you must no longer earn primary remuneration by practicing project management, and you must have been a certification holder in good standing for at least 10 consecutive years. Once you are in retired status, you do not need to earn or report PDUs. And that pretty much concludes the document. On other pages, it talks about the transition to the updated CCR program, which does not apply to you if you are not a PMP or you were not certified before 2016 January. If you got certified in January 2016 forward, these pages do not apply to you. I would not worry about them. Page 20 talks about PDUs earned prior to 1st of December 2015. There was a change in how these PDUs were earned. The talent triangle came into existence, And this information is pretty much for those people who were certified before that period. In the appendix, you have the PMI Certification Application Renewal Agreement, and pretty much is an extension of what you've already signed up for as a PMP. It's also important one more time to remember that you cannot use training that you got before you became certified as PDUs. And that concludes our review of the continuing certification requirements of the PMI. If you have any questions, send them to info@praizion.com. All the best in your PMI certification cycle.